So this is NotebookLM. So I've already created a notebook, and I'll create one from scratch for you. But again, I'm into weather. This is what I gave it as far as knowledge. Literally just one PDF. It's a pretty detailed PDF, but it's about how do tornadoes form off of what we call right moving supercells and/or QLCS, which is quasi-linear convective systems. Again, I could go deep on to the weather stuff, but so I ingested this research paper into NotebookLM, and here's the guide. So there's things that you could create off of it. So once that's ingested, it gives you a summary of what this is. So as an example, if I said, create a briefing document off of what you know about, which is the knowledge. So what it does is it creates and this is the whole concept around Notebook, it's creating notes. So these notes are basically the output of a chat or an output of a prompt. So here it is. Here's my little note. So this is a briefing note. What are the main themes of this research paper? Key findings. So I would have had to sift through, I think this thing is like 80 pages or something. So it brought everything back together. Now, is this earth shattering? No, because I could have just done the same thing in any, quote unquote, large language model. Here's a document, go summarize it for me. But what's really cool about this is that I can have all these different notes and it's organized in the way that I want. So I could also write my own notes, which you can see here. I could say add note. I come in here and, type whatever I want. And, I could name my note, whatever it is, right? So I can keep running notes along with output that comes from the interaction of the model. And again, remember, underneath the scenes, this is the Gemini 1.5 model. Now, what sets this apart is the fact that, yes, I could, chat with this data, right? So I could do whatever chat. And here's a running chat that I had, but it provides suggested prompts. So I could use one of these, or I could just ask whatever I want as well. But if I look at a response, I could say, save this thing as a note. So it goes back and it saves it as a new note. And that's exactly what you see here. Because I asked it, like, how are advances in radar technology helping to discern these different systems in terms of tornado genesis. So I could save my prompt. So again, this becomes a living, breathing document that I could work and read and work with. Now, here's the part that's got, I think, everybody like, oh my God, this is so cool. So just by ingesting this one PDF, when I say generate an audio, and I think I turned on audio on this one, hopefully I did. This is a podcast between two people based upon the document itself. So I didn't tell it anything about what to do. It just created it. So hopefully you're hearing the podcast.
No.
Okay. Let me just do this.
Cells, and also tornadoes that form from squall lines.
Right. Yeah. There's kind of this preconceived notion that all tornadoes.
So I don't know if you were able to hear that, but basically it's two people talking about tornado genesis formation based upon these right movers and QLCSs. So, all right. So that's one that I had already created. Let me just do something very quick. So here's, again, totally in depth, but
nerd alert.
Yeah, definitely nerd alert. So there's something called SKUTs and photographs, and these are things that whether people look at to determine, like, what is the atmosphere doing at a particular point in time. So this is a great quote unquote training video that I've looked at and helped or guided other people to use. So here's this example. Let me go back to the video. And you're going to see why I did that in a second. So a new notebook, I'm starting from scratch. I'm going to add a source. So here's all the different sources. So I can upload files. And again, you can see PDFs, markdowns, audio. I could connect into a Google Drive. So this is, think about the workspaces again. If I'm using Google Drive, I could connect directly into that. I could link. So I can link into a YouTube. So if I put in the YouTube video, which is what I was just showing you about SKUTs, look what it did already. Boom. It gave me a summary on, how to read those Qt models. And if I do a customization, this is the new part on what NotebookLM just released a couple of days ago. So I could say, please only focus on SKU T's. All right. So this will go off. This is going to take a couple minutes, but it's going to create that podcast. But now I've passed the note to the NotebookLM to generate just what I'm focused on, because this talks more than just the SKU models. So I'm not going to wait for this. It'll take a couple of minutes, but this will go off and create my podcast. So you can see why this is, taking things by storm, because it's a nice little simple interface just to interact with any of your data, creating those table of content study guides. By the way, the study guide is kind of cool because it creates questions and answers. So if you were literally studying for something, this is a great way of just creating a study guide and actually studying against it. So anyway, that is NotebookLM. Now, not to leave Microsoft or OpenAI out, there's nothing special about this. Just put it bluntly, it's great that everything is integrated, but you could build your own NotebookLM. Here's an example. This was just released literally last week. Somebody, and I can't take credit from this, somebody out in, quote unquote, computer land, created a GitHub repro that does a podcast generator using Azure OpenAI and, the new voices. This was certainly, inspired by NotebookLM, but you could see, a demo video. We'll put this in the show notes. So if you wanted to, build your own, you could do this. So a GitHub repro, you could fork it, you could use it, and you can see here it's inspired by NotebookLM and the new HD voices. So like I said before, NotebookLM is super cool, but there's nothing that you can't do on your own to build it in your own organization if you did not want to use NotebookLM. So with that,